Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your February 2017 Tarotscope. I'm sorry that this has gotten out so late. My family and I are in the process of moving to a new place, so, going through everything and boxing up some of the stuff that we're keeping and then, setting aside stuff that we're giving away has been, kind of crazy. And then I had family visiting from California, so it's just, all over the place. So again, I apologize that this has taken so long to get out, but I'm here now. So before I begin, I would like to mention that I've introduced a new deck of cards for these monthly readings, and that is the Rune cards by Ralph Bloom. So I pulled one card from that deck, and I've also pulled one card from the Sacred Path deck by Jamie Sams, which, if you watched last month's Tarotscope, was the card that I showed at the very end of the readings. But yeah, let's get right into it. So, before I show you the Rune card, I would like to say that my initial impression was of somebody who's been feeling around in the dark for some semblance of security, some semblance of peace and just security. Security is a big word that I'm getting. But what you've got is Hagalaz, which is number 19, Disruption. And this card, this rune in particular, represents hail. The destructive power that hail has. Say, we can see it smashing car windshields. We can see it smashing windows in our house when it comes down. And, it hurts us if we're out stuck in a hailstorm. And, it's very destructive and frightening and painful and oftentimes surprising element. But the other side of that is the fact that hail melts and it becomes water, and eventually that hail will become the water that waters all the plants and that nurtures the ground and, allows seeds to sprout, because now they have the moisture necessary for them to survive and to grow. So, think about that a little bit as I get through the rest of this reading. So, the feeling around in the dark bit that I got, that was the immediate impression that I got when I saw this card, which isn't that normally the feeling that I get from seeing this, but that was like the first thing that popped into my head as a way to explain it. And, with this card next to it, it just seems to be very monetarily based. It seems like this security that you're trying to find is, an issue that's on your consciousness because you feel like your material circumstances aren't quite so stable. There's a rug pulled out from under you. Maybe the money's not coming in like it was before. You're making less money, or you lost a job, or you've been trying to find a job and you haven't, or you lost food stamps, whatever it may be. You're just kind of stuck in this state where you're just trying to find something to give you security, and it's been scary, and notice I'm saying this in the past tense. It's been disrupting to your status quo. And, again, like I said, with the hail melting and it being a positive, nurturing factor in the end, it's the very same thing with these circumstances. For whatever reason, you've been thrust into these negative circumstances for you to have the opportunity to change and to potentially change the direction that your life is going in, or be able to be in those places where you can dig deep within yourself and find those things that you don't need anymore. Maybe the fact that the Salvation Army stopped by my house today is relevant because they came to pick up stuff that we were giving away. So in the same sense, giving away those things that aren't necessarily serving you anymore. And that can be, material objects, like actual physical things, like in the same sense that that I had today, or it can be, facets of your emotional or mental sphere. Things like old habits, or maybe the way you respond emotionally to occurrences. Instead of getting stressed out about something, maybe it's time for you to meditate and be present with yourself where you otherwise would automatically react in a certain way, and be present enough to, instead of reacting to something, respond to it. And I just want to say, because when I said giving things away, this card caught my eye. I forgot I pulled it, but this is your Sacred Path card, and it is number 5, Standing People, and this is Roots and Giving, and that's exactly what this is about. Because if you think about the book, The Giving Tree, how nurturing and how generous the tree was in that story to the little boy, and in the end it was cut down, but anyway. The fact of the matter is that trees yield fruit, and they provide for the beings around them inadvertently, and it's not in a way that's self-sacrificing completely, because in a small way, their fruits and the dispersion of their fruits to the animals and to people is beneficial on the tree's end, because it leads to them, their offspring spreading all over the place, their seeds getting all over the place. So being generous, but also recognizing that you have your own needs, and I don't want to say agenda, because that word seems so pointed, but it's the only word I can think of. Recognize that you have your own goals, your own agenda, your own things that you need to do, but don't completely, just throw everyone else's needs out of the picture. I could have worded that so much better, but anyway. Okay, there's another instance of somebody either having stolen something, or you feeling like somebody might have stolen something of yours, and getting away with it. But I'm getting the sense that either the suspicion on your end or on their end, if they're thinking that you stole something, is unfounded. Nobody stole anything. Or if somebody stole something, it's going unnoticed. So maybe you don't realize that somebody stole something from you, or somebody doesn't realize that you stole something from them, which I hope isn't the case. I hope neither is the case. But anyway, there seems to be a developing part of your life in regards to like your family life, in regards to your relationship, if you're in a relationship, or if you're not in a relationship, where your insecurities based on past experiences is kind of getting in the way of things, and kind of disrupting your openness to the positive outcome that this new development is bringing. Maybe you're moving somewhere, or maybe you've just set some new rules in your house. I don't really know, but I feel like there's been a little resistance on your end to these new changes, but what's being asked of you now is to stop being resistant, stop resisting, stop fighting, just allow yourself to flow. Be the Pisces, be the fish, flow with the water, stop trying to swim upstream. That's necessary sometimes, but it's not necessary right now. There's a season for everything, okay? I don't know why I'm getting this, but like with regards to things like anxiety, if you're fighting the anxiety, the feeling of anxiety, if you're like, I'm not going to feel this right now, I'm going to try to do a million other things so I don't focus on the anxiety, that can help to a certain extent, but it also makes it worse. Fighting fire with fire is just going to make the fire bigger, So allowing yourself to just stop constantly trying to be in control, and just letting go and letting yourself feel that anxiety. Say, I'm going to feel this anxiety for 10 seconds, and once that 10 seconds is up, that's it. That's all I'm letting it. But you're going to allow yourself to be immersed in the feeling completely, so that you can move on. Because that's how emotions should be processed. We should allow ourselves to fully feel them as they arise, but being present enough, not to make destructive decisions as a result, if that makes sense. Instead of repressing them and letting them build up over time so that they explode in the end, which isn't a good thing. Now, going back to the development in your romantic sphere of life, maybe you have given someone else an offer of, or a declaration of your romantic interest in them, and they either have declined, or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they offered or declared their interest in you and you declined. And it seems to me to have been a good decision. It seems like, the timing isn't quite right. You guys are still both developing at your own little paces, and maybe you guys will meet up at another point and it'll be better. Or maybe it's just a matter of communicating, a matter of restating what the actual intentions are there, instead of just kind of saying, I like you, and so what, you like me, now what? Be clear about what your intentions are, or in the opposite sense. And once that foundation of clear and open communication and openness to differences in your individualities, because you are two different people, is going to go a long way for you guys. If you're currently single and there is no prospective partner in the way, it seems like maybe if you go back and re-examine the situations you've been in, on a subconscious level, maybe you have been resistant to somebody else coming in your life, even though consciously you're always telling yourself, I'm willing and ready for a partner to come into my life. You have to really mean that in your heart. So take the time to reflect and see what it is that you really feel about something, okay? And figuratively or literally make room in your life for a partner if that's what you want. And if not, then if that's not what you want, then keep on doing you. You're capable and you're powerful in yourself. You don't necessarily need another person to complete you. And maybe that's what you need to recognize for those of you who have been looking for partners, because you're not going to find completion or fulfillment in another person ever. So the sooner you realize that, and the sooner you become content and happy with that, and happy with yourself and with the relationship, the beautiful relationship that you have or should have with yourself, is important. I don't know if that sentence flowed as well as it was supposed to. I'm kind of running out of time, but I want to kind of talk about how it seems like there's been I don't know, this seems like the most important thing for whatever reason, but this card, the moon card, I was looking at the book earlier, and it was talking about the actual esoteric meaning of the moon. And if you notice that the moon is on the right-hand side of this circle, and the right-hand side is the waxing side, the increasing side. And the closer you get to the full moon, the less power the animal, the primal desires have over the pure spirit within, which is, I don't know how to explain that, but, maybe this full moon is going to bring a little bit more clarity for you, a little bit more ability for you to really see what's going on both in yourself and in your life, so that you can appreciate everything. And I'm sorry, I gotta end this now before I run over and I'm not able to upload the video, but I want you guys to look at these cards really quick, just so you can meditate on them, okay? Take care, Pisces. If you're interested, I'll be offering some mid-month love and romance readings, okay? So stay tuned. Bye.